Ooh, what's happening, man? Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Uh, I was about to fucking fib and say I don't have anything specific I want to talk about, but that's almost like the fucking opposite of the truth, bro. Um, I don't even know where to start, homie. Actually, I do. And I just found this anime from last year, 2022. The synchronicity is fucking crazy. This shit's called Tales of Zestria the X, right? 2022. Tales of Zestria the X. This shit, I've only seen the first, not even the first episode. It's a prologue, so it starts at episode 0. This shit is hard as fuck, bro. This shit is cold. It's right up my fucking alley. First episode, there's fucking, I guess they're gonna say it's Seraphim, but it looked like a Nephilim to me. Plasma apocalypse shit. It's, the overall tone of the shit started off, like an anime, like, or not all of them are like that, but like a lot of anime, it started off pretty cheerful. It started off pretty cheerful, and that shit got dark quick, nigga. Like, golly. Golly. This shit got dark, bro. I'm excited. I was just looking for something to fucking waste time with, you know? For a hot little minute, because I be rewatching shit, bro. I made my whole watch list right now in my brain, not on a specific app, but my brain watch list is shit I've already seen. It's just been so long, and I've been studying so much that, you know, my logic, watching something once, if it's got some weight to it, if it's got some meat to it, that really ain't about shit, you know. If you see something that has some real gnosis, or it's got occult messages or esoteric truths, wisdom, whatever. Watching it one time is a mistake, because a lot of the time, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter if the point of it was to be disclosure, or um, like taunting, because a lot of the time you see shit get released and it's not. It's designed for you to enjoy, but it's almost like them niggas are laughing at you while you watch it, right? Like Don't Look Up. That was definitely, some mockery. Leave the World Behind, mockery. What was that shit? Contagion, from some years ago, well before the bioweapon. Definite mockery, and people call it soft disclosure, and I guess it is kind of soft disclosure. But this whole narrative that they have to tell you what they're gonna do before they do it, because it's cosmic law and shit, nigga, that's not true. That's not true. I mean, and if so, how is it cosmic law if there's like, you know, if there's ways to get around that law, and they're very like loose ways to get around it. Like, oh, we put out UFO movies, so now we can go out and fucking abduct people. That's not a law. That's not a law. I mean, and if it is, then that reinforces the fact that I don't fuck with none of this. I don't fuck with none of this shit, bro. Um, but yeah, the Tales of Zestria the X is cold. Only watch the prologue. The shit is hard. Um, so if you got Crunchyroll or wherever you watch anime, go check it out, honey. Um, I got a list of shit that I wanted to talk about. There's some of it's coming back to me. I think this one's gonna be kind of random, you know. Uh, just a heads up. If you can't tell, I talk about what the fuck I want to talk about. I really don't. This shit's gonna be organic. I'm hoping. My main goal is to find family. It's not to build a fucking following. I don't want anyone following me. Um, you know, I'm still like getting used to the rewire of my mind. I'm uncomfortable with. It makes me uncomfortable when someone says, "Oh, you're like a leader. You're like a natural leader," or "Oh, you're so smart." Like I don't know. I'm not. It makes me uncomfortable when people start like tossing out fucking ass kissing shit. You know, because like to me, um, there's plenty of shit to be focused on. Like, as corny as this shit sounds, I feel like I'm not on mission, but like training for mission, you know? And I don't mean fucking astral travel shit. I don't mean, channeling missions. Not to say that those things are irrelevant or that I don't believe in them, but I get annoyed at those concepts currently, like right now, because I've said before, there's too many people kind of like playing make believe or LARPing or being opportunistic for money and like recognition and shit that doesn't matter. Give a fuck about recognition or money or building a fast following, or like people keep saying these weird things to me like, oh, you should do this so your following grows faster. I'm like, what if so I can have random people follow me that I don't share anything with? In theory, if I were to do that, that would bring me supporters and people that present as like-minded deities. But in reality, it would be the niggas in the comments trying to gotcha people and start arguments and like, you know, I'm just not with that. Matter of fact, earlier today, I commented some shit talking about the nanoparticle projects and how they keep releasing these articles talking about how it's in like a testing phase, or we're gonna have nanoparticles and we're gonna be able to make medications inside your body with nanoparticles, and it's gonna be great. Like they don't already have that shit, and like they haven't had it for like fucking 20 years. But I went into some context and tried to give a good chunk of information without spamming 4 paragraphs worth of information, and people were responding to it, and I was happy about that, because my main thing, the reason I don't do like presentation type videos and shit like that, is because I think it's more important for me to like provide prompts, right? Because like I talk about teachers and master teachers and shit. I'm moving away from the term master teacher, because I keep seeing these fucking cults like being built around teachers currently, and the you know, the ones that I fuck with, they weren't really about that in that way. They had ego. I mean, especially, this is years, in some respects, decades ago, a couple decades ago. So they had ego. It was very early into all this shit. These studies and these things that we have been developing as a community, and on a smaller scale as those that I would consider to be my family that I can feel out there somewhere. But still, they weren't trying to build cults, you know, and regardless to how this old weak ass antichrist figure, and I'm not a Christian, I say that because he presents that way. Um, Says he's not really about money, he's about freeing the people, but all he talks about is money. He keeps talking about topics that don't fucking matter, which means that he's just looking for content. He goes with popular, you know, formats like blah 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 exposed. Like, who gives a fuck? If you expose one person in that industry, you've exposed all of them. They're all the same. They're all doing the same shit. Not to say that every single person in music is that, but the ones that are in those fucking cliques going to the parties and all that shit, TD Jake shit, they're all the same. Expose one and then say, now apply that to everybody you think and use your own discernment. But this is like the third or fourth or fifth fucking whoever exposed video. Like, if at this point, if y'all can't see the real spill with that particular nigga and the camp that he's trying to build and the manipulation that he's imposing not only on his supporters but on, you know, someone that I respect. I respect Young Elder a lot. Everybody's got faults, but I respect that nigga a lot, man. He's done a lot for the people and for those that I consider family. Not to say that my family is his family, because we obviously move way different, but I do respect him, and I feel like he's being taken advantage of right now. And not to say that he doesn't know what he's doing, because I think he's about money too. He got thumbnails with fucking Maseratis and stacks of cash and planes and shit. So, whatever. Everybody looks at this shit differently, and none of it fucking matters anyway. But, I just think that everybody views the shit differently, and I'm not. It's more important to me, first and foremost, to find my family. Currency don't. That shit's not gonna last, bro. Look at the shit that's been ramping up. Like, it's kind of like a weird separation in people's minds, especially creators' minds. The people that are all in your face trying to show you stories all the time, like, oh, look what's happening over here, look what they're doing to people over here. Like, they're showing you all of these apocalyptic type, you know, clues, precursors, but it's like they don't realize that that's what they're so wrapped up in the content that they don't understand. They're like disconnected from it. Like, they can talk about it and tell you what's happening, but it's like they don't feel it happening, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like, they'll tell you about a volcano erupting, and then, like, just it doesn't really seem like it's connecting in their brain that that's a volcano doing some, not just erupting, but doing some wild shit. Or, you know, oh, there hasn't been a baby born in this country for a year or for 2 years, or you know what I mean? Like, it's very off-putting to me. And I try not to prejudge people, but at the same time, for you to be able to say some shit like that out loud and read, you know, hopefully you're looking at multiple sources before you make these videos, whoever you are. But if you're able to look at that and like not have some kind of like emotional response, you need to do some, in my opinion, you need to do some inner work, nigga, because the shit you preaching and talking don't match. Like, if you can't feel something off that and it doesn't elicit some form of response from you, you're not exactly what you're telling people and yourself that you are. Like, there's certain shit I don't talk about because that shit gets me, you know, emotional in one direction or another. Shit makes me sad, or it makes me, I get fucking hot over it, or, you know, I get like aggressive because I'm tired of this shit. Like, and I try not to hide that shit from y'all. Like, because in my opinion, in my mind, not opinion, in my mind, those that I am truly related to, those that are truly a part of the family that I keep saying I can feel them here. I think that our traits match up. So I think we're not going to be exactly the same, obviously, but I think we've been misled as to what family means. Family in you know, these are all mouth noises that we give to things to make sense of shit, but like, to me, family is like not connected to this, you know, it's not connected to this. It's connected to the true self. And lately I've been tagging stuff with I weigh 21 grams, you know. I'm trying to, like, I've studied so much shit that sometimes things come back around to me and I'm like, oh shit, like, that's a good way to try to convey this thing that I believe, or this thing that I know, or this thing that I feel. And a lot of the time I take for granted that just because I know something or I've studied something doesn't mean that the person who happens to come across my piece of work, whether it be one of these or a reel or a short or, you know, a song, a poem, a short story, whatever the fuck it is, because I do all kinds of shit. I don't put it all on here because I've had some bad experiences. I lost 5 chapters of a book, by the way. I finally got back into my computer. I was on chapter 10. Years of work. 5 chapters gone. Anyway, I don't like talking about that shit. Because there's some foul play afoot there. But I think that, I feel that that's what's going to lead me to them, outside of the fact that it's like a faint feeling, and I feel like it's almost like some Hancock shit. That's why I talk about Hancock sometimes. I feel like the closer we get to each other, whether it be in a literal sense or on a spiritual sense, the feeling will get stronger. And so that, for me, supersedes everything else. And the kind of like rules or laws of it are different than what may be seen as the average. So yeah, I didn't mean to stick on that for that long, but I just, you know, of course I pay attention to like how many people will watch a thing, or you know, basically just that. The and I really, it's loose attention to that too, because I know my shit gets fucked with, or at the very least it doesn't work right on my phone, because how do I have 0 views on an archived live when there are comments and likes and people, you know what I'm saying? Like, that don't make no sense. So obviously there's something up with that. And then the same thing on YouTube. Like, I'm watching my numbers on YouTube go up slowly, gradually, and I don't. It's just I'm trying to make sure that I'm not like too off-putting, or you know, whatever. To an extent, I'm trying to like keep a balance, but I'm watching my numbers go up and then come back down. I'm watching my views go up and then come back down. Likes disappear, views disappear from certain videos, like, which in the grand scheme of things, I don't give a fuck. As long as those beings and deities saw it, that's what matters to me. That's the main thing that matters to me. And every once in a while, I get an interaction with someone who may very well be, you know, whether it be family or just another being that really pays attention and gets how my mind works. Like, that shit is very, very worth it to me, and rewarding, you know. And it's happened a couple times. Like, there are beings that I'm glad to have started interacting with, you know. And I've made the, I don't want to call it a mistake. I've made the decision before, fairly recently, to like kind of immediately start shouting them out, and doing, you know, videos with them or some shit. I'm not doing that anymore. There's a fucking grace period now, because the last couple times that's happened, they start off they start off one way, and then once I'm like, oh, okay, cool, we can, you know, we can start doing stuff. Let's start working on shit together. Then they're nuts immediately, crazy. And I've referenced it in some shit before. A lot of it is just cult behavior. You know, I say the word cult so much because that's what the fuck is happening right now, nigga. Like, if you're concerned with me repeating myself, repeating words and phrases, then this probably ain't the place for you, because this is a tool for me. This is not for me to gain a fucking following and advertisement deals and fucking, you know, I'm not an influencer. I'm not trying to be a fucking influencer. Like, this is a tool for me, because it saves time and effort and energy to not have to, like, I've been on tour before as a musician. I've traveled all kinds of different modes and avenues for meeting people, and that shit takes a long time, a lot of effort, you know, a lot of risk. And this is much faster and quicker. It comes with its own pitfalls, like fake people, like, you know, and I mean that in both senses. Like, fake people, like the ones I was just talking about with the cult behavior, people that are just riding a wave and do want to be influencers, cult leaders, literal fake people, like bots and AI and shit. Like, you know, those are pitfalls too, but I don't have to go nowhere then. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to spend all that time traveling, you know, putting myself and my energy at risk. I don't have to do all that. So, straight up, this is a tool, and I am an opinionated, you know, deity that is trying my best to, like, to find, to find family and to help people see things from different perspectives. I'm not gonna call it teaching because, and this that's a damn nigga, that's a smooth ass transition I just did. That's what I actually wanted to talk about next. Is like I'm not teaching shit. That goes back into what I said earlier with the whole I do prompts. I'm not doing presentations usually. I will do some. I plan on doing some, but that takes a lot of energy, and I'm doing something right now. You know, I'm doing something right now. On top of raising a champion. You know what I mean? Raising a young pup, and then I'm trying to get back on this book. I just took some grieving time because to lose, if any of y'all write, like really write, not just poems or songs or anything, like write books, losing 5 healthy chapters, not just some short story, couple page chapters, losing 5 healthy chapters. I was on chapter 10, done with it, about to start chapter 11. Now, I think I am maybe done with chapter 5. And that's, this is me having to, not only I have to reread these first 5 chapters because part of the reason that I picked it up when I wasn't necessarily ready yet is because the book has changed. I was already kind of not stoked about this shit because the story has changed drastically. And I was going to recycle a lot of it because I still like the framework, but really, really integral plot points are gone or are completely different. The plot in general different. Like there are new aspects of it. The ending of the first book changed. The overall theme of the I'll call it a trilogy for now because I'm not trying to overwhelm myself, but the story, the overall story changed. So I was already like, fuck, I don't feel like 10 chapters, bro. I gotta read 10 chapters and I gotta maybe do a new fucking outline and all this shit that I've already done before. I started this book in prison. Nigga, I was not looking forward to that. And then I get my my Chromebook open because I had shit happen with that and the password and all kinds of shit. It was a nightmare. Finally get the shit open. It's wiped. All my chapters are gone. The only reason I have these 5 chapters is because I backed them up to the cloud. I didn't trust the cloud back at this point because I didn't know enough about it and people weren't really talking enough. So I wish I would have done it. Don't get a Chromebook. Anyway, I'm not a teacher. I don't claim to be. I don't really aspire to be a teacher. I think that word is somewhat becoming interchangeable with influencer or cult leader or entrepreneur. A lot of the time it's not really a teacher. A lot of the time it's like a person with a different goal that's just using it like a tool, like I said, which is fine, but to what end? What are you using the tool for? Because as a person who may, take in your work, I now have an opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion. And if you're using this tool and saying you're a teacher, but it's really because you want to be a fucking rapper, 25, let's just say randomly 25-year-old rapper that looks like he's about 35, always talking about other rappers and singers and industry people, exposing them and shit. And most of what you talk about seems to redirect back to being in the music industry. You can say independent all you want to, it's still an industry. There's no club where you're in the industry or out of it. If you're making music, you're in the fucking industry. You're not gonna get very far without playing nice with them niggas either. And to act like you can means that you don't know what you haven't been doing it long. Because I definitely was deep off in that shit, playing music, and that's why I fucking quit. I quit. As soon as I started to see, oh, you can't get away from that, I quit. That shit broke my heart, too. I love music. I still want to play. In fact, lately I've been like, maybe I could find a band. I keep doing it. It's like drugs. It's like a drug. I know what it leads to. It doesn't matter how long it's been. It's been like 6, 7. Oh shit! It's 20. It's about to be 2024. It's been a grip. It's been a minute. But it don't matter. It doesn't matter how different things are, because you still got to get out there and play shows. You still got to work with other people. You still got to be around these weird ass niggas. Like, you can't get away from it. So to pretend that you are and keep pointing fingers at other people and exposing them, you weird for that. You a weirdo. So I don't consider that to be a teacher, because you have ulterior motives. There's something else that you want. And then, with that specific person, there's more shit than that you want. And all of it's weird. All the shit that you trying to do this for is weird as fuck. And you lie. You're a liar, bro. Like, for someone to ask you straight questions in a public forum and you answer them like a G, you know what I mean? I'll give you that. You answered. But then, 6 months to a year later, your answer turns out to be the opposite of the truth. And now you ducking because, niggas calling you up on it. You ducking that shit. That's lame, bro. You a lame for that one. I'm just going to say it. And regardless to the response to that, it's calls them like I sees them, my nigga. You know what I mean? You a lame for that. And I just don't support shit like that. And it doesn't mean you still gonna have people paying attention to you. Because honestly, in my opinion, you got that push behind you, bruh. You got that push behind you. You seem to me, and this is the same shit that I said, and I guess now I'm just talking at you for a second. You got that push behind you. You keep saying we doing this independent, trying to get money about your people, about your supporters. But it seems like you already got, the push that you need. Work that shit. Go do shows. Nigga, stop asking them people for money. People going through some shit right now. Go do shows. The people that got money will come to your shows. They'll buy your merch. That's how you raise money in the music industry. You don't even have to, just because I used to play music and do shows and shit, even if I didn't, I would know that's common sense. You don't need to beg them people for money. Most of them ain't got it to be given to you. You draining people that don't have money to be given you. But that's not the only person. That's not the only, that's not the only one out here doing that. Like, I'm a teacher. I'm a root worker. I'm a light worker. All this stuff is just people draining each other of money and whoosh and energy, and is gross. So what I want to do, what my goal is, I'm dropping prompts. I'm telling you about my studies, telling you about stuff that got at me that day. Like, this doesn't have a format for real. So the people that are coming to these videos looking for a format, you gonna get it sometimes. And I try to name the videos appropriately, and it's not like I'm trying to keep people away from the videos or do the Seinfeld and talk about nothing. But at the same time, this shit is organic. I'm not gonna be doing all that hey guys, like and subscribe. I'm not gonna be doing all that shit, bro. That's not what this is. If you like that, cool. But that's not what you're gonna get here. You're gonna get real studies. You will definitely get that. And if I ramble for sure, but it's because my brain is just going and going and going. If you can't tell that, then you pay very little attention to people in your surroundings, I bet. But within that, I get to it. I get to it, I make sure that if I ramble too much, I don't put the shit out. And that's happened a couple times actually. Because, this is just how my brain works, always has been. And um, it's always been something like this, because this is different, you know? The shift or whatever people keep talking about, I won't completely condemn that theory, because my brain is doing something. I don't know what to call it. I keep calling it rewiring, and it's been a process, and it started, you know, a grip ago. But then again, some people call that awakening, and there's no time frame for awakening. That's not something that just started in the last couple of years with the sun cycles. It just happens when it happens for you. But this shit is therapeutic. I feel like I'm doing something that's gonna benefit me and allow me to search for the family that I feel, in my soul, in my consciousness, in my 21 grams. I feel it. I feel family here. So I'm just gonna keep doing it the way I do it. If I change something, it's because it seems like it's beneficial to me. But the other examples that I see, a lot of them are lame. And I see people changing as their support, grows. It's like they can't help it, which is very, very strange. And the funny thing is, like, I guess I don't really need to stick on that. Yeah, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher, and I don't plan on ever necessarily calling myself that. I'm not gonna fucking try to sell you courses. I'm not doing, one-on-ones. I'll talk to anybody, but I'm not gonna charge you for any of this shit. I'm not finna charge you for dumb shit that should just be free. Like, why I need to charge you for a consultation when you could just DM me and then I DM you back, right? Like, if I got time, I'll do it, and if I don't got time, I'll wait till I got time. And that's not because I don't have anything to offer. It's because why should I make you pay for that shit? If I am looking for family and you may potentially be my family, or even just another being or deity, like, I just don't understand. If we don't like this system so much, and we're so about the fucking, the country and the state of things and the government overreach and all this shit, then why is everyone still supporting that fiat currency? There are people that I don't even fuck with that hard that have said, if we all just stop participating for probably like a week, I don't even think they'll last a week. If we all just stop participating, it will crumble. And then we can build back the way that we see fit. And it doesn't have to be all handholdy like you see some of the people with the biggest mouths and voices and platforms saying. We can figure out what we want to do. It doesn't have to be that. People can find their own sections. People can, it doesn't even matter, because we would have to get to that point. But main point being, like, we should try to be comfortable with ourselves and stop leaning on other shit. Like, everyone is quite literally addicted to money, to capitalism, to having someone else tell them what they can and can't do, fear. Like, there's so much shit, and I get it, but at the same time I don't, because it's to the point now where it made more sense to me when I was talking somewhat like this, but other people weren't. But now, a lot of y'all are starting to talk like this, but you're still clinging to the shit that goes with that. That doesn't make any sense. If you're done with it, you got to cold turkey, my nigga. Stop. We can all cold turkey together. That's the best way to do it. You know, cut these niggas off, bro. We don't need their shit. And it doesn't mean that all this is just gonna poof and go away if we stop participating. There will still be stuff. We are the wave. They're not the wave. We're the wave. We decide. They just got y'all thinking that they do. So yeah, and I only go into that last thing I went into because someone earlier today was like, hey, is it cool if I like ask questions and start dialogues with you sometimes? I'm like, yeah, nigga, like I've been saying, hey, yes, gladly. I wish more people would. I got a few people, a few deities, beings, goddesses, that I talk to, but it's not many. And then some of them kind of fall off, and that's gonna happen sometimes. No bad vibes with them. On different levels. Sometimes I talk to some, and then other times like it just falls off completely, and that's just how this shit goes, It's sifting. Where I'm sifting. I was gonna say we, but that may be not what some people are on to, but. So yeah, he DM'd me and was like, "Hey, is it cool if I start dialogues with you sometimes? Ask questions, context, recommendations and stuff." Hell yeah, bruh. Hop out, But I'm not gonna charge you, and he didn't think I was. Maybe he's watched something where I said I'm not finna charge nobody nothing because money is gay, bruh. Money is gay. Money is homosexual. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I take that last part back. Money is gay though. Different definitions. I fuck with gay people, so don't try to do that with me. Don't try to do that. If you're older than 20, you remember when everybody called everything gay. I never left that. That never left me. So. Sorry. Yeah, I don't care about that. I have very specific goals and motivations. Money is not one of them. I don't give a fuck about the hustle. I'm not about to be like, you gotta get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to really get the hustle. I'm not doing none of that shit. So if you have a question about something that I've said or something that I've referenced or, my take on something or you want to get a second opinion, whatever the fuck, hop out, bro, DM, whatever, you know what I mean? That shit's cool. And to transition again, I'm trying to be on my transition shit right now, I guess. I was thinking earlier. I was listening to a Jay Dreamers video, right? He did like a Christmas special. And to each their own. I don't fuck with none of that. It's not because it's satanic or any of that goofy ass shit. It's because I don't like being loosed. I don't like being loosed. I don't like being manipulated and like lied to. You know what I mean? And all them holidays are for different purposes. And you can figure out what it is. I've been telling people all day. Mind Unveiled. Very, very one of my favorite YouTube channels. Really good information, well researched, well placed documentation. They don't just say shit, they show you their documentation, good visuals, good production, everything. Everything is good. Doesn't mean I always agree with them. I can't think of many times where I haven't. In fact, many times they're just presenting information. It's not necessarily their beliefs. They're just presenting information. They're like me. They'll say if they believe something. There's a difference. If you preface something with "this is what I believe," it's different than just presenting the information from research that you've found or experimentation that you've done. People are not remembering that in these circles, and it's starting arguments and making heads butt and all kinds of shit, and it's goofy as fuck to watch. Just to throw that out there. But yeah, so I'm watching a Jay Dreamer's video. He's talking about doing, it's okay to like kind of market a little bit with your content, I guess. Everybody was doing Christmas videos today. That makes sense. I'm not. I'm anti to a fault. I am anti to a fault. Bet I don't put Christmas in the title of this video. to my chagrin, to a fault, I will bet I don't put Christmas in this. I won't reference holiday shit at all, and I won't even acknowledge that this is the day that I made this video. You feel me? Like, I don't know why that is. I don't know what's up with me with that. I've made lots of decisions where I could have, I was going to say made lots of money. Then that's before I got fed up with that whole concept and system. But, like, not even money. Like, I made decisions where I could have succeeded hard. But not only did something lead me to a different direction, I got a vibe that it was like, nah, this is not a good idea. Like, just for multiple reasons. But on top of all that, I've always been a contrarian in that sense. If all y'all are doing this and I feel even 1% off about it, fuck that shit. That's how I've always been. Very, very weird how early that started, and definitely has caused some setbacks that I'm still proud of. Anyway, so Jay Dreamers is another one of the channels that I frequent on YouTube. Again, very well researched, likable dude. Documentation. He does presentations. These niggas do presentations. I don't do presentations. These are the channels I use for research, to to compare notes, to get different perspectives, blah 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 blah. And as I'm listening to him, his whole like hypothesis and thesis is on the plasma apocalypse. If you're interested in that, I will say a little bit about it. So he's essentially, much like many of us, he understands that you can't just go off of one text and then think that you understand what this is, what this place is, what's happening here, what you're doing here. Like, you can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. Zero sense. At the very least, you need to use other civilizations' text to corroborate. Make sure that it's not just a nigga making some shit up to make ducats or to get extra wives or whatever the fuck, Vatican people were doing back then. But yeah, so he understands that it's best to study as much as you can find on a topic or on a subject. And he's very much into the apocalypse, plasma apocalypse cycles, which I also believe in. These things happen in cycles. People talk about it in a roundabout way, but they say it in a different way. They're like, this is all a cosmic play, and so on and so on and so on, and history repeats itself. They'll say stuff like that, but then if you tell them, okay, so then that's what the apocalypse is also, and there's going to be another one. The last one was a flood. This next one's going to be fire. Good half of people freak the fuck out on you and don't want to talk to you anymore if you say that shit. You know what I mean? But he's very well researched. He hits more resources than most. Same with Mind Unveiled. And as I'm listening to him speak, I realize that I have a meter, or like a tester, bullshit graph. I don't know what to call it. Intuition. I'm just gonna call it intuition. I listen to presenters, researchers, physicists, scientists, chemists, philosophers, occult members, not cult, occult, like occult order. Fuck cults, even though some of these people are still in cults anyway. There's way more cults than people give credence to, like a lot, hidden and unhidden. I listen to a lot of different perspectives, suffice to say, and I don't pick one and then disagree with the rest of them. And that might sound like an obvious point, but if you really think about it, it's not. That's not the way that we've been programmed currently. The way we've been programmed currently, from going through school, is that things are binary. So either it's this or it's that. It's A or it's B. It's alpha or omega. It's one or it's two. And that is dumb. Why would that be the case? It can be both with all of those things, or it can be all. And I say that to say that of all of this gnosis and information and wisdom and knowledge I'm taking in, I give a lot of it credit or credence. And to some people, to give, credit to this thing, or to say, yeah, that makes sense to me, or this, I vibe with that. That then to them means that now I can't, make sense of or vibe with any of the rest of this shit. And that's not how my brain works, bro. Like, that's a part of what I'm doing. And it's funny because I listened to a podcast called Theory of Everything, or Theories of Everything. I think it's Theory of Everything. Also, good show. It's dense. They like to use their vocabularies on that podcast, and that's why I don't really toss too many clips out or recommendations, because it's a little pretentious, and then also it would probably go over many people's heads. And I don't say that as like a douchey thing, just like if it's not going to serve you, if it's not going to help you, or if you're not the type of person that's like, I'm going to listen to this and force myself to build my vocabulary, it's not going to do shit for you to listen to it. You're just going to be sitting up there wondering what the fuck they're talking about, And that's not helpful. So if something is at moderate level, at the usual level of vocabulary, and every now and then you need to go look something up, that's all of us, But Toe is good. So if you're the type of person that, some people, I hear them say they write every word down that they don't know. I don't do that. I'll pause it and go look it up if I need to, but for the most part, it's not that difficult at the same time. But it is pretentious. Especially the host. Very good vocabulary, very smart dude. You don't need to talk like that, though. At least not all the time, bro. We get it. Good shit, though. You have a good show. But he's doing a version of what I'm doing on Theories of Everything. It's gonna bother me if I don't figure out if it's theories or theory. And that I don't know that he made that up, that concept or that phrase up, because someone referenced it in his comments today, and I was like, oh, so that's like a thing? He said, until someone finds a TOE, Theory of Everything. So either he's just like a fan of the show, or that's like a concept in physics, theoretical physics. Either way, he's doing what I do, or what I'm attempting to do, which is I'm trying to, all of the shit that I study and research and enjoy, paying attention to, it's all connected. It may very well seem like it's not even in the least, like not even close to connected. But in reality, if you know what you're looking at, if you know how to place the puzzle pieces on the table, like it's all connected, and not even loosely a lot of the time. It's just you have to be um, persistent. There's a lot of editing and scrubbing of the internet and changing of information that is meant to not only hide the thing, but it's also meant to like deter you from giving a fuck. Like, I'm not gonna do all this to find this fucking book. Like, they want you to do that. They want you to fucking give up on finding it. But he, is doing a version. I think maybe his version is a little, right? I can't say that because it's literally theory of everything. So maybe we're doing the exact same thing. And he does bring on, yeah, I think maybe we're doing the same thing. There's certain stuff he doesn't touch on his show as of yet. At least not that I've seen. I don't care about looking crazy or, reputation for looking into things that people find obscure or scary or evil, or I don't give a fuck about any of that. The shit isn't real. The only thing that's real is your consciousness. The rest of this is a game. And it's not to say that it's like a fun game, because some people come off like that when they say this. The simulation thing, it's all a game, bro. Just live it up. Nope. I don't share that view. It is a game. It may be a game that you chose, or I think it's more probable that it's somebody else's game that either got you to get into it with trickery, or just straight kidnapped you and put you in it to recycle you over and over again. Unsure. Still working on that. But, some people are comfortable with getting into that type shit. Some people are not. He has a very good following and Patreon and all that shit, so maybe he just doesn't want to talk about those things, because I'm sure he is aware of them. But it's to me, it's important to I'm not shying away from anything, because that's just going to waste energy for me. I'm getting good at not saying time, by the way. Good on you, brother. But yeah, it's a waste of energy. If I'm gonna ignore or avoid or set aside some of the parts of my studies and research, then what is the point of me working on the theory in the first place? Because the theory is that all of this shit is connected, and if I'm doing that, then I'm wasting. Now I gotta come back around to it because I was trying to tiptoe around some certain words or certain phrases or certain, people that consider themselves to be an ethnic group that aren't. You're a cult. You're not anyway. It's not a true theory of all, which is funny because I was like, yeah, I'll just call it a theory of all. This dude's got theory. I should start. I should change my YouTube channel to TOA. Change it to TOA and just keep fucking spamming that dude. Like, you want a battle, bro? Anyway, yeah, I'm not gonna tiptoe around shit. I just don't see that as a thing. But I do like that there are other beings and other deities and so on and so forth that are coming around to the same thought process, where it's like everything is connected, and not in the way that's getting like gingerly passed around Instagram, where everyone just keeps saying we're all one, everything is you.